Hello and welcome to this new episode of Bootstrapping Your Dreams Show. I'm your host Manoj Agarwal, and today we'll be talking with my good friend Jeff Hancher. So Jeff is a leadership expert on a mission to help individuals and organizations reach their fullest potential. Jeff took an entry-level job to support his sick parents and turned it into a 20-year leadership career at a Fortune 500 company. In 2020, he made a bold move. He walked away from corporate success to build a business focused on one thing: equipping leaders to lead with purpose, confidence, and clarity. Through his work, Jeff brings a unique blend of real world experience, relatable stories, and practical strategies that help people rise above the challenges and build teams that thrive. His latest book, Firm Feedback in a Fragile World, is a playbook for turning one of the most uncomfortable parts of leadership, giving feedback, into a tool that actually fuels growth, trust, and performance. Whether you are leading a team or just stepping into leadership, Jeff's message is simple. Leadership is not about titles, it's about taking ownership, showing up with courage, and building a culture that brings out the best in people. Welcome, Jeff.
Manoj, what an intro. I don't even know how in the world I'm going to live up to a fantastic intro, but you nailed it, my man.
Yeah,
You absolutely nailed it, man. This is a subject I am certainly passionate about, that something that I've dedicated my life to. And so thank you for allowing me to be on your platform to talk a little bit more about it.
absolutely. No, I mean this is your story, and I'm sure this was just a little glimpse of what you have done, what you have created, the people you have impacted. So let's dive into it. Like let's start with your story, which is a very powerful story to begin with. Let's go back and see, how was it? How did you get started, and how did you get to this level of success? And I know a little bit about your background as well, so but we'd like to hear from you, how this all came to be.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I think it is important to understand, why somebody does something, what is their passion, and why. I get asked the question a lot: why did you write the book? What are you trying to do? I'm a product of leadership. Full stop. Like, I'd love to tell you that I'm something great, and I mean, believe me, I've worked very hard, but I'm a product of leadership. There's no good reason that I've had any level of success other than I've had great people that I have surrounded myself with that have been where I wanted to go. You see, Manoj, I grew up in less than ideal circumstances. By definition, I grew up in poverty. I had two parents that never worked a day in my life. I had a mom that battled a disease called lupus, a dad that battled chronic osteoarthritis. They were good people, but they were fighting hard through a lot of adversity, and this left me and my brother with a lot of misdirection, and
Mm.
this led to a teenage phase of trouble and brushes with the law and a lot of bad decisions. I graduate from high school and I just knew I wanted more, and I knew I needed to get out of here. So I joined the military,
Mhm.
and it changed who I became. I transitioned the military. I'm going to go to college on the GI Bill, which had never been done in my family history. Like, I'm ready to blaze a trail. And
Mhm.
right before I was ready to start college, I got a call from my dad that I had gotten so many times, which was, they're sending mom home in hospice. It's not looking
Mm.
good.
Mm.
In this same moment, my dad, in the same time frame, my dad is having a leg amputated,
Oh my god.
and my brother's on in his career. So I put college on the back burner and I go help out. I just want to help my family. And I didn't want to be a burden. So I wanted to just get a seasonal job, a job that would, maybe last 3 to 5 months. The
Mhm.
problem was I didn't have a lot of skill. And
Mm.
so how we used to get jobs, Manouche, is, and this will resonate with people my age, we would go pick up a newspaper and look at what jobs were open, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I just looked at ones that I thought maybe I could do. And the one that resonated most with me was a like a truck driver job. And my brother-in-law was working at this company, and I saw the opening, and him and I talked. And so I become a truck driver at Cintas Uniform Company, picking up dirty clothes.
Yeah.
What I thought was going to be a seasonal job ended up being a 24-year career.
Wow.
And I had some of the most amazing leaders. I can't say enough about the organization, the culture in the organization, the leaders that I had. And as I grew into leadership roles and advanced leadership roles, I became passionate about giving it back. But I am a product of leaders that earned the right to give me tough feedback in the toughest of moments. And it literally shaped who I've become. And now I left that career that I love to dedicate the rest of my life to serving leaders and helping them help others reach their fullest potential.
Yeah, well, that's a powerful story, and I'll tell you, you when you say you're a product of leadership, like you attract the people that are most like you. So I think you yourself have played a huge role in becoming that, right? You attract those people into your life, and moreover, when they give you feedback, it's up to you to listen or ignore. So
True.
you are the one who listened and took action. So let's talk about that. Like, what are some of the moments where you remember, like, going from a truck driver and you got some feedback? What are some of those moments that still are fresh in your memory, and you said, oh wow, this is something that I never thought of, and you went in a different direction from there onwards?
Yeah. Wow. There's one story that I talk about in the book that's worth mentioning. I can't give them all the stories. They won't
Yeah,
buy the
yeah,
book.
absolutely. Yeah.
But there is one that not only does it answer your question, but it was a moment in time literally that changed my life.
Mhm.
And I've talked to this manager of mine. I hope he sees this video. Sean, he was my sales manager. I was a truck driver. Now let me paint the picture for you, Manoush. I was making, $21,000 to $23,000 a year back in the day. And I mean, that was a lot of money. And by the way, they offered medical benefits and a 401k. These are things I never knew existed, never heard of. Like, I was living pretty large. But
Mhm.
I saw, like, my brother-in-law worked at the company and he was in sales. And, these salespeople, they dressed in fancy suits and shiny shoes, and they drove these fancy cars. You might have heard of them, Honda Accords. I mean,
Yeah.
these things were like amazing, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to be one of those guys. And
Mhm.
so I get my break, into sales. Uh, and man, I wasn't really great at it, but I was working hard, but I had a great leader. And this leader went beyond his job description. This is a guy that I remember once him talking to me about how to tie a proper knot in a
Oh,
tie.
I see. I see.
And he was the guy that also introduced me to what a collar stay was and
I
taught
see.
me fashion, if you will, white collar fashion. He kind of knew my background, but, I kind of hid it because I was a little bit embarrassed by it. But he knew
Mhm.
enough to know that I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
with all the humility he could muster up, he started making these deposits into not only making me a good salesperson, but helping me become a professional.
Mm.
And he would pull me into the conference room and we would role play together. He would teach me sales scripts and he would teach me the feel felt found on how to overcome objections. He would jump in the car with me and observe me doing sales calls and give feedback. He would let me observe him doing sales calls. He was my biggest cheerleader. Like, this guy was making huge deposits in my life. Well, one day I got up and I was getting ready to go out into the field and, make my sales calls. And I got a call from my dad, one that was unfortunately familiar to me, which was, hey, you probably need to get to the hospital. Mom's not doing well.
Mm.
So I remember calling my boss and I said, hey, I got to get to the hospital. No problem. Well, today was different. Today was a different day, Manoush, because that day that I went to the hospital when I saw my mom, it looked different than I had ever
Mm,
seen before.
mhm,
And it was that day that I held my mom for the last time, and she
mm,
passes, and I'm crushed. I'm devastated. My why, we talk about the why. Part of my why was, I didn't want my kids to have the life I had. I
mhm,
wanted to give my parents a better life than they could provide for themselves. I mean, I
mm,
was working hard. I was cold calling. I was working long days, long hours because I wanted to. Success was so important to me. And I felt like in that moment, I was getting so close to tasting success. And one of the very things I was fighting so hard for was gone.
mm,
And I developed a poor attitude. I went into a time of deep sadness. It affected my performance at work. And I remember a specific time after numerous days, my sales manager pulled me into his office, and I'm paraphrasing what he said because I don't remember exactly, but the essence was enough's enough. Enough
mm.
is enough. Jeff, you've told me time and time again your motivation to give your family a life that you didn't have. You still have a family. Your son is 18 months old. My heart breaks that your mom passed away, but I'm not going to sit here and let you ruin your potential. You have
Mm,
a choice to make. You either get back to work and become the person I know you can be, or you're going to fail miserably and you wouldn't even be on my team.
yeah.
And it was in this moment that the old Jeff Hancher would have probably said, "Don't tell me what to do," and walked out the door. But here was the difference. This guy made the deposits way
Mm,
before he had the tough conversation. In that moment, he earned the right. Now check this out. After that conversation, I hit my first President's Club award. I go on to win multiple President's Clubs awards. I get promoted 9 more times after that. I start my own company. I'm now impacting people internationally. I wonder I wonder, and I mean, if I dwell on it, I could get emotional. I wonder if he didn't earn the right to have that tough conversation in that moment, if I am who I am today.
mm,
This is the high calling of leadership. And
yeah.
my hope is that this book will give a framework to leaders that maybe haven't been taught, maybe they're insecure, maybe they're the people pleasers, or maybe they're the aggressors. But this framework, when done well, it will take you from being a boss that people report to becoming a leader that people don't want to let down. And
Mm.
that is the high calling of leadership.
Amazing, amazing. Sorry about your mom and the experience, but these painful moments are sometimes what transform us. And having those people who made the deposits in your life, as you said, that makes a big, 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 huge difference. So now let me flip the switch here a little bit. If somebody is watching or listening and they said, "How do I find that Sean for myself? How do I find that person?" Because many times I hear people complain, nobody cares about me, nobody gives a damn. How do you become that magnet that attracts that person, that mentor that makes those deposits in your life?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they're hard to find, right? They are hard to find, and it's like finding a precious jewel.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't stop looking because here's what I do know, and I'll answer your question.
Mm,
There's two things that can literally transform you from who you are today to who you're going to be in 5 years. And it's what you consume and who you surround yourself with.
yeah, yeah.
I am full stop a product of the great leaders and mentors that I've had in my life. I didn't grow up with this knowledge. I
Mhm,
didn't get to see it modeled out. So I had to learn it the hard way. I had to borrow the belief that my leaders had in me that I didn't even have for myself. And so here's what I would tell you of it, if you're somebody that's like, man, I wish somebody like that would drop into my life.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm,
you use the word magnetic. I think there's some truth to that. The mentors are all around you. The question is, are they being drawn to you? One, go
mhm,
look for them, seek mentorship by asking questions like, hey, Manoj, who do you know that I don't know that I should meet?
Yeah, yeah,
Now, how Manoj answers that question will be dependent upon his impression of me.
yeah.
That's how it's going. That's how you and I met, actually, Manoj, was somebody
Absolutely.
said, Jeff, you got to meet this guy. He
Yeah.
is amazing. You know how many times a week I hear people say that about other people?
Yeah.
But the person that said it, I trusted.
Yeah, yeah,
And I knew they wouldn't steer me wrong. So we have to become these people that mentors want to invest in.
yeah,
Why would they want to invest in us? Because they think they're going to get an ROI. The
yeah,
best ROI we can give a mentor is executing on what they're telling us to do.
yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
there has to be some fruit in our life, whether that's results, and maybe you're not at results yet, but you can always be at effort. You can always be intentional. You can get in what I call proximity to great leaders. Maybe they post on LinkedIn, be in their comments. Maybe they've written a book, buy it, message them, tell them what you learned from the book. These are things that a lot of people don't do, but here's what we know. If you do what everybody else does, you're going to get what everybody else
Yeah,
has.
yeah, yeah.
When you do things that nobody else is willing to do, you will possess things that not many people have. Be willing to do the unique things and go the extra mile, drive results, drive effort. People are watching. Be
Hmm.
so impactful that a mentor says, this is the person I want to spend time with.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's very powerful. Um, and now again, I'll shift gears again. The book is all about firm feedback, and I think you mentioned you use the word people pleaser or many other ways how leaders uh, provide feedback. Sometimes you need to be firm. Sometimes you need difficult conversations. But even leaders who are confident in their own abilities, they sort of shy away. They don't want to be the bad person or the bearer of the bad news. They want to be polite. They want to be liked. And this is not just in professional environment. Like in sometimes we even treat our kids that way. Like I don't want to be a bad parent, but we know that we need to be firm. How do you structure it? Again, I'm asking you to give a glimpse of what framework do you propose in the book, so that people can get a glimpse of it. But in your own way, in your own words, how do you become that person confident enough to give this firm feedback?
Yeah, confidence is the key. When you have confidence, you don't mind going into a tough conversation.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite quotes is this: if you lack confidence in self, you're twice defeated in the race of life, but with confidence, you have won even before you start.
Mm.
So then comes the follow-up question to the quote, which is, how do I gain this confidence? How do I get it?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
when it comes to firm feedback, it's a simple formula, not easy. But when it comes to firm feedback, it's about earning the right. So the question then is, Jeff, how do you earn the right? It starts with setting expectations.
Mm.
Expectations that are clear, that are reasonable, very important, that the employee has been adequately trained to meet or exceed the expectation. And the last pillar of setting expectation is this: that they understand why meeting or exceeding the expectation is good for them,
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
balance sheet, not the stock price, why it's good for them. This
Mhm.
is, a page from Simon Sinek's book, People Will Work for Their What, but They'll Die for Their Why. Are you
Yeah.
attaching the mission and the purpose into their mission, their purpose? You remember what Sean said to me, my sales manager? He said, you told me that your motivation was to make sure that your family had a life that was different than yours. He reminded me of why this was so important to me. That hit
Mhm.
my heart. It touched
Mhm.
my heart. And so we can't be people that are just one side, all accountability. That's the aggressive leader. Or the other side, we're always telling people the expectation, but we're never giving accountability. That's the passive leader. Imagine a world with me, Manoj, that there were no speed limit signs. They didn't exist anywhere. But you're driving home from work one day, and a police officer pulls you over. You roll the window down. They throw a speeding ticket in the door and say, "Have a nice day." And you're
Mhm.
like, "Wait, what's going on?" Well, you were speeding. Well, what's the speed limit here? Figure it out. We
Mm.
would we would be irate. But
Yeah, yeah,
guess what? Leaders do this all the time. They
yeah.
do it all the time. So we have to set clear and reasonable expectations, meaning we don't huddle everybody in the conference room and say, hey, team, here's what we're going to do. We're all going to run a 4-minute mile. We're what?
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
I have an artificial hip, 2 artificial knees. I'm not running a 4-minute mile. Who
No.
decides if an expectation is reasonable? We need to get people involved at the point of creation, but it
Mm.
starts with expectations. But we can't just stop there. Because imagine if we had a life full of speed limit signs, but nobody ever got a speeding ticket. Would
Mm.
we take the speed limit sign seriously? Probably
Mm.
not.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably not. There has to be a level of accountability. That begins with feedback. Feedback on a consistent, routine basis keeps reminding them of why the speed limit sign exists. Why is the expectation in place? Why is it good for you? And how are you doing as it relates to the expectation? SMART
Mm.
goals, individual development plans. These are the things that, remember, I said, my sales manager would pull me in and train me. He would jump in the car with me. These were consistent, routine, one-on-one connections that was being made to keep me in the boundaries of success.
Mm.
If we don't have enough time to meet with people, we're not spending our time the right way. And
Yeah.
so that would be some early framework that leads us to the accountability.
Amazing. That's a great framework. I hope people sort of dig into it and take the steps seriously. Now, you also mentioned, we we need to set these expectations, and we need to hold people accountable, and we need to remind them about their purpose, their why. This tells me there has to be a very intimate relationship and dedication towards people, and ability to cultivate those relationships, ability to communicate, right? Because I mean, you are a gifted communicator. Not everybody is like this. So how do you even, like, take it one step back and say, okay, how do I even, like, become that person who can talk through these things, or ask the right questions, or have these abilities to just share my thoughts. They mean well, they are in the right place, but I just don't know how to share these with people.
Man, that this would be the consume piece.
Mhm.
You mentioned how do I know to ask the right questions? Let's spend a minute on that, because asking the right questions is feedback.
Mhm. Mhm.
And show me a great leader, and I'll show you a leader that asks the right questions.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
then there's somebody watching or listening that says, so what are those questions, right? Well, hey, go to jeffhancher.com, go to the free resources, and I'll send you my favorite leadership questions. But here's the thing. We have an AI expert. He's going to tell you, go to ChatGPT, put it in the prompt. There are resources out there, but when we're making these one-on-one connections, we have to ask the right questions.
Yeah, yeah.
When we ask the right questions, it starts unlocking the door for earned accountability. And let's role play this, if you will,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
me, Manoj.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
yeah.
Manoj is a good sport, so we're gonna stay with us here. But so Manoj, we've been friends for a little while now, and you and I are going to an international business summit in 2 weeks, and me and you are prepping for the summit right now. And
Mhm.
I say, look, Manoj, I think we have everything prepared. The presentation looks good. Everything seems to be on track. But hey, let me ask you something. I want to ask it early.
Mhm.
If we're at this conference and I smell that you have bad breath, would you want me to let you know? Would you want to
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
would want
Absolutely.
to know. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Fantastic. Hey, let me ask you this, Manoj. Why would you want me to tell you?
Well, so that other people don't get offended, or I present myself in the best possible way.
Yeah, because what I've learned about you, Manoj, is you want to serve people.
Mhm.
And sometimes this is an area that can be a blind spot, and I'm going to be with you. And I care enough that I just wanted to open that door. And
Yeah.
so 100%, you can count on me. I'll let you know. Now, check this out. Fast forward 2 weeks. We're at the conference, and you just get done drinking a coffee,
Yeah.
and we're talking. And I say, "Hey, Manoj, you remember a couple weeks ago we were having a conversation, and you asked me to let you know if your breath ever had an odor?" "Yeah, I remember,
Mhm.
Jeff." "Hey, great news. Today's that day, and I have a mint, and I want you to have it. And I give you the mint. What do
Mhm.
you say to me after I give you the mint?"
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with me because I won't know that I
That's
was
right.
in this situation. Yeah.
Thank you for the mint. Now, role play number 2. We are in a convenience store. We're in line to get to the cash register. You're behind me in line. I don't know you, but I smell your breath. It's the
Mhm.
same. It's the same data, same
Mhm.
bad
Mhm.
breath. It's data.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I turn around to you in line and I say, "Hey, I want to let you know your breath really stinks."
Mhm.
Now, in this scenario, you are offended.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
are you to tell me about my
Yeah.
breath? Now, look,
Yeah.
I'm just giving you the information, just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I did at the business summit at the conference. But in one scenario, I get a thank you.
Mm.
In the other scenario, I get a "you're a jerk. Don't tell me you don't have the right."
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
so then what's the difference? The difference is in one scenario, I asked the right questions that unlocked the door to open the right to have what? A tough conversation. If you
Yeah.
go up to somebody and tell them their breath stinks, that's a
Yeah.
tough conversation.
Yes.
But when you earn the right, you're literally giving them a gift.
Yeah.
So we
Absolutely.
talk about this framework in the book of how can you, passive leaders, please don't miss this one. How can you go from being palm sweaty, tight chest, heart racing, avoiding these tough conversations to making them a part of your daily life? You do
Mhm.
it through asking the right questions. You do it through collaborative feedback. You do it through earning the right. And we are all a product of this.
Yeah.
We're all a product of it.
Absolutely. Now that was great. I mean, this is a great exercise, a live demonstration. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Um, and you also, one question I also ask is, as you're going through this journey, as you're developing, we don't develop in a straight line. We make mistakes. We make, we learn lessons. And so, any as you were going from a truck driver into the senior executive position to now starting your business, what are some of the mistakes that you may have made, or the lessons you may have learned along the way that you may want to share?
Yeah, well, I'll share one, leadership lesson that I learned,
Mhm.
and I had to learn it the hard way. And hey, look, we can learn a lot from failing, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I was coming off of one of my best years results wise. I was having, I think that was the year that I was the regional sales manager of the year, got the award, got the trophy in my trophy case. And I was getting a performance review. I hope my boss at the time gets to hear this because it changed
Mhm.
my life.
Mhm.
But he told me that although I had a good year, I needed to improve my employee engagement.
Mhm.
My turnover was pretty bad, and he's given me this feedback, and I'm like, man, I hate to admit it, but he's right. Like I need to genuinely care.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to pause that story, go back about 2 months before, and then I'm gonna bookend
Yeah,
that story.
yeah.
2 months before, so he's given me this feedback about employee engagement. 2 months before this, my admin Karen, we debriefed every week. We talked what's going on. Now, this was the model employee. This was like the ride or die. This was like if you could create a definition of perfect employee, Karen's face would be right beside it. Like we worked so well together. We knew each other's families. Just a great dynamic. And there was this one specific time we were coming up against year end. I hate to lose more than I like to win. There was a
Mm,
number I was trying to reach. And so I was just cracking whips, man. I mean, everybody get moving, go faster. And, Karen, even as the admin, I mean, she was running hard. Go get
mm,
this report from this manager, go get this, go get that, go, everybody's just running really, really hard. Well, we end up the sales team of the year. But
mhm,
hey, look, mission accomplished. We won. But we went into this debrief, and Karen's head is down, and I'm just thinking, man, something must be wrong at home. And I said, hey, what's going on? You okay? And I remember her lifting her head up, just in disarray. And I
mm,
said, is everything okay at home? And here comes a tear, and here comes a tear, and here come the words that pierced me so hard. She said, I feel like no matter what I do, it's never
mm,
good. It's never good enough. And I'm like, how could she be saying this? Like, we're so close. We have such a strong relationship. And I said, how could you say that? And
mm,
she said, there's never really, an accolade or affirmation, or, I'm paraphrasing for Karen, but I remember
mhm,
the moment like it was yesterday, because I was like, I truly do care for her, but I got
mhm,
so busy chasing a result, a number, that I lost sight of the human element. So
mm, mm,
fast forward to this annual performance review. I guess it would have been my boss's boss at the time. He recognizes this, and he's having a conversation with me about it. He said, hey, great year, but you got to get better at the human element. He
mm,
pulls 3 50-cent pieces out of his pocket, throws them at me, and he says, I want you to put these on your bedstand. He
mm,
said, every morning you wake up, I want you to put these in your left pocket. And your workday is not allowed to end until they get in your right pocket. And he said the only way that they can transition from left pocket to right pocket is you have to find somebody doing something well and
mm,
affirm it. He said
mm,
this is going to be 15 leadership deposits every single week. And I'm like,
mm,
wow. Now, look, was I a good person? Yes. Do I care about people? Yes. Did I lose sight of it? Yes. Did this one thing help me be more intentional? Yes. Here's what doors that unlocked for me. I got to really express to people how much I valued them. I started becoming more of a leader that I had in my sales manager. And my goodness sake, did my leadership impact go to a place that I didn't even think was possible? Winning results, making money, winning the trophy, that's not really the goal. Even if you're winning the trophies, but you're not doing what we're talking about right now, I would ask you this question. How much better could you be? How
mm,
much better really could you be? Because the goal is not a trophy. The goal is to see other people reach their fullest potential. That's the high calling of leadership. And I missed it in that moment. And it was one of the greatest leadership lessons that I was ever given. So thank you to Karen, and thank you to my boss at the time.
yeah, that's amazing, and it's so relatable. It hits home for me because I had very similar experiences in my life. Chasing like building technology, going, just making sure the engineers get the job done, meet the deadlines, and never actually acknowledging all the hard work, and wondering why I'm not getting along with people, even though we are doing great things. So thank you for sharing that. And
Mhm.
absolutely, I think the human element is the key for every major success. And I think, as you said, like once you start getting it, you can even hit those numbers and beyond easier.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The rising tide lifts all ships, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now let's move to the future. Like, so now you have this book coming out, you have new business. Like, what does future look like for you? Like, what are you doing next, and what are your big hairy goals?
Yeah, we have more vision than we have time and personnel.
Mhm.
That there's no doubt about that. I mean, we're launching a book currently. It's my first book, so big learning curve trying to figure out how to do all of that. But Man, I'm excited to announce that it's the first week of September. It's on the calendar. We have our first team session on the second book.
Oh,
So we're
wow.
wasting no time.
Oh, my
We
goodness.
we want to put content out to the world.
Mhm.
We are in the early process of developing online content.
Mhm.
Currently, I've just done in-person type things. So we're in the process of creating virtual content online. As our brand expands, we want to serve more people. And so
Mhm.
that's something that we're very, very passionate about. The executive mastermind, who you got to be a part of that.
Yeah.
We have a big vision for that. We have at least a national, if not an international, vision for that executive mastermind. I see pockets of that bubbling up all over the country and reproducing myself and other people to make this more of a movement.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and lastly, and Manoj, maybe I can't say too much, but you and I have a meeting with our team in July, and
Mhm.
I'm very excited to start pulling artificial intelligence into our brand and
Mhm.
how we're going to deliver through, creating an avatar and you help utilizing my proprietary content and IP to serve the masses as I lose control of time and the ability to meet with people.
Mhm.
It's like me coming right into your living room.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Manoj is going to help me develop some of that. And I'm super excited
Absolutely,
about that.
absolutely. Looking forward to it. Well, so that was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much, Jeff, for being the person you are, sharing your knowledge. Highly recommend everyone gets the book, learn from Jeff, and then of course, as they make progress, they may want to work with you directly or want to join the mastermind. How can they contact you? What is the best way to get in touch with you?
The best way is through our website, jeffhancher.com. It's like Jolly Rancher, but it's with an H. Pretty easy to find. You can go through the website. I'm on all the socials. We would love an opportunity to serve you. And hey, look, if you're interested in the book, obviously we would appreciate the support. But if you buy it, don't just go to Amazon. I would recommend that you go to firmfeedbackbook.com, firmfeedbackbook.com, because there we got all kind of bonuses that Manoj, I don't want this to be a book that people read and check the box. I want it to be something that transforms their leadership impact. And so for the launch season, we're giving you exclusive interviews with me, where I go through the chapters and explain what you just read and how to implement it. We're giving you our leadership playbook, all of our resources that we have, how to set expectations, PowerPoints, questions you should be asking in one-on-one debriefs, and also access to our book launch team. We're doing webinars and live events and all of the stuff. So with the purchase of one book, you get all that stuff, and that can be found at firmfeedbackbook.com. And we would be honored to be on the journey with you all.
Awesome, awesome. We'll put those links in the show notes and make it easier for people to reach out. Thank you so much once again. I wish you well for the book launch and hope it makes to the bestseller list. And yeah, looking forward to more conversations and collaborations.
Thank you, Manoj, and thank you to everybody that watched or listened in.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.